Amir, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Frank. Pleasure to be here.
Amir, you lead up RingCentral's technical sales organization, which I absolutely love. It's kind of near and dear to my heart. What are you doing to build a culture of collaboration and maybe a certain level of innovation inside that group?
Absolutely. Yep. So, as you mentioned, I've got the technical sales. So, globally, I've got all of the solutions engineers, the specialists, the sales teams for specialty solutions such as customer experience, contact centers, the event solutions that we have,
Mhm.
video, security, custom engineering. It's a pretty large, fairly large team, but we're very tight knit and we meet on a regular basis. And really, at the end of the day, much of our meetings are centered around how we are listening to the customers and then amplifying that voice back into our product teams. So, in terms of innovation, we talk to customers every day. We listen to the challenges they're having, and then we're also trying to solution and recognizing where our roadmap needs to go to ensure that we hit the mark.
Mhm, mhm. And how do you think, like, your organization in particular, like, as technical sales, impacts RingCentral at large? Because it's a huge company, you've got all the command and control structures that any large business would have. How do you influence the movement of the rest of the business?
Yeah, I think what I love about my team and my role is we're at the center of it all. We're helping marketing, we're helping with competitive intelligence, we're helping with pricing, we're working very closely with product, with engineering. When anything new comes out, we'll get access to the alphas, the betas. We'll be able to really dig right into it, and they're all asking for our feedback. And then of course we're part of the sales team, so
Right.
we're working hand in hand with sales, with the channel partner community, with folks like yourselves, as we do the discovery with the customers and trying to truly understand, again, what pains are they facing and how can we help transform them into the cloud by bringing the latest and greatest innovations together. So not only do we hear the problems, but we have the empowerment to take what we've learned back into the business to say, hey, here's how we need to chart our roadmap. So it's a very empowering, a very fulfilling organization to be at because we feel like we truly have a seat at the table to make a difference.
Hmm. I know that you're a technical person, but I hear a little bit of product evangelism coming out inside your
Yes.
talk track. How does that permeate the rest of your team? Is everybody similarly kind of engaged and switched on about evangelizing?
That's a great question, right? Because we're in pre-sales, we're talking to the customers. Now, if we don't have a certain level, to your point, of technical credibility,
Mhm.
customers are going to be, does this guy even know what he's talking about? Is he plugged in? And it's not just Rig Central, it's the industry. Where is the customer experience, the customer journey? Where is the industry going as a whole? Where are our competitors going? So when you come in and you're brought into a situation, you're talking to senior folks at the decision makers, ideally you want to show that passion because you believe in the solutions that you're bringing forward are actually going to help make a difference at the customer. So evangelism is absolutely at the heart of it. And of course it's talking to customers, it's educating channel partners, making sure they understand where Ring Central would be a great fit for them, because of course there's lots of options out there. So I think evangelism is absolutely at the heart of it. We have various marketing events to help stimulate and help drive lead generation. So that's also an important a part of not just myself, but the whole organization is engaged in those activities as well.
Who is your best friend from a functional perspective inside the business, whether it be sales or marketing or product? Are you most tightly aligned with product and do you work really heavily with them? Are they like your number one relationship?
Yeah, that's a tough question. So we're part of sales, so we're in lockstep with sales, and then the two biggest partners would be obviously product and marketing, and then there's product marketing. So it's really both of them. I think with the product marketing folks, we truly develop and help figure out how to position the solutions that we're bringing forth from a positioning perspective. from a external facing evangelism perspective, so we truly get the message out. But at the end of the day, product is at the heart of it, because if we're not, we're in pre-sales, technical sales, we have a lot of integrity. So we're not going to say something that we don't believe in, that our product can't do. So we need to make sure that the product keeps up with the evangelism and the marketing. And so I think it's those three. It's pre-sales, the whole marketing organization, and the product organization working together in unison to ensure that we're pushing solutions forward. I'm in Canada. So, Wayne Gretzky, it's like you want to go where the puck is moving to, not where it is right now. So we've got to be forward thinking and collectively working together in sync to make sure we're developing products that customers actually need today.
Well, you talk about developing products, and we know that in the industry, there's been a lot of movement around merger acquisition. There's been some false starts, of course. If I think about the Zoom and Five9 potential merger that fell apart, I think that there's been some influence that's driven a renaissance inside of RingCentral to somewhat develop and build their own products like RingCX, RingSense. Those are things that are inside the organization. They're part of an inclusive set of technologies that you own and drive. How do you think that's elevating the company's offering?
Absolutely. So we had great learnings. So we've been a major force in the customer experience world, in the contact center world, with our great partnership with Nice CX1.
Mhm.
So our Ring Central contact center offering, which is a superior premium product out there, which brings the best of the Nice CX1 solution, coupling that with, because in many of those cases there'll be a UCAS and a CCAS together. So you're
Mhm.
bringing the best of the UCAS, right, with Ring Central's what we call now Ring EX, employee experience, bringing that together with the best of the customer experience. And that's a great offer at the upper end. But with those learnings, we built well over a $300 million practice in customer experience with that solution tightly integrated with ours. But then we realized that there's a huge segment of the market that we're not able to address. And I think that's where the Ring CX complements the Ring Central Contact Center, because it gives us our own solution. So we control our destiny there. We shape that roadmap 100% because it's our own. And it's simple, easy to deploy, cost effective, and infused with AI first, being a newer product. And we have close to 400 customers already on that platform, many over 1,000 seats. So I think having our own product truly allows us to deliver on the promise and the expectation that people have from RingCentral.
Mhm. And I think that you see Ring EX and CX as a complementary product set in the industry. People grow by a whole host of different methods, right? They have the invented here first mentality. They have will grow by acquisition, or they'll grow and they'll make sure that they have spot solutions that cleverly plug into their core technology. If you think about companies like Zoom, Dialpad, others out there that have had this single pane of glass, like Sprinkler as well. There's
Mhm.
many of them. And I think even Nice CX1 that you talk about in your enterprise stack is moving towards that with the CX1 interface, kind of unifying a lot of the acquisitions that they've had over time. Where do you see that strategy fitting with your organization, with Ring EX, Ring CX, Ring Sense, all these things being
Yep.
available, but wanting to make it unified?
Absolutely. We're well down that path. So that single pane of glass is on the roadmap. We're already there. Like literally every month I look and it's coming together more and more. So that is no question where we're coming from. I think where we try and differentiate ourselves, because a lot of the marketing sounds the same, it's all the same, but we are starting from a tremendous platform of reliability. So
Mm,
we've been able to deliver five nines for nearly 5 years now. And that's not a marketing SLA. So
mm,
what we're doing is we're starting from a foundation. Because look, you can have all the bells and whistles you want. There's all kinds of AI and co-pilots and all that. But when you come down to it, when there's an outage, everything goes out the window. So at Ring Central, our foundation is five nines, not a marketing SLA, true engineering 5 nines that we've been able to deliver. And as we bring the Ring Sense and the Ring CX more and more onto that single pane of glass, I believe that delivery of that robust platform that's going to be there, that's the key. That's the key differentiator. So we're bringing it all together in an environment where it's going to be up and running for you.
Yeah, you can have all the bells and whistles in this world, but availability is the best experience if we're talking about
100%,
customer
especially for customer
experience.
experience. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it sounds like you're doing a lot of listening to the customer. We always talk about product market fit. You come out with a new solution, and if you haven't really been doing the deep engagement with prospective customers and with existing customers to help shape the landscape of what that application is going to be, you can have a real big disparity and ultimately a flop with the product. So, how do you think the voice of customer initiatives inside of Ring Central have worked to influence your product development and direction, product path, et cetera?
Yeah, so that's a primary function of our pre-sales organization. So we're listening to customers, we're talking with them and with partners, every single day across the globe. So we've got a pulse on exactly, what customers' pain points are, and we take that back into our product teams that, again, we've got a cadence with. They want to meet with us. We meet with them. I meet with them regularly. My team meets with them regularly. We actually have a cadence whereby they're constantly providing that feedback loop on our roadmap. So the roadmap's not fixed.
Mhm.
Obviously, product teams would come together. They'll have a 12-month roadmap. Directionally, here's where we want to go. But what I love about Ring Central is right at the CEO level. Vlad Shmunis, our founder, CEO, chairman, he's still at the helm. He's constantly asking my organization, representing sales, representing the customer, are we on track? Is this the right way to go? Or is there something else that we need to do that will not just catch up or keep up, but leapfrog the competition to delight customers sooner? And that's extremely important. We obviously have things like cabs, and we have some key accounts that we continuously talk to. We bring those customers together. We do it also with the channel community, constantly listening. I think you've got to truly listen. You can be whichever. We feel we're very strong player in the market at Ring Central, but we're humble. We
Mm.
need to listen. We don't know it all. We need strong channel partners, alliance partners, customers themselves that are actually going to validate and tell us if we're on track,
Mhm.
where we are, and we're going to double down, and in other areas where, hey, we need to do more of this. Let's go.
Where do you sit in the organization just from a command and control perspective?
Sure.
And what level of voice do you have with the CEO? Where do you provide influence? Where do you get insights in terms of path? And how does that shape your energy across the business?
Absolutely. So I report to the CRO, Carson Hostetter, and Carson reports to the CEO. So it's a pretty flat organization from that perspective. We
Mm.
have regular meetings with Vlad. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I brought my leadership team in. We did a global leadership team meeting, an NPI, or a new product summit, where, again, I did a bit of a QBR with my team, and then I met with all of the executive teams, like from product, from marketing, the key folks, chief product officer, chief marketing officer, various engineering leads, and with Vlad himself, where we just had about an hour and just a very candid discussion
Mm.
where he was probing us, like, what are you seeing in the field? What's working? What's not working? And based on that, actionable stuff. The next day, he called a meeting with the senior folks. I'm there as well. And he's like, guys, I want to see an end to end customer journey. How do we ultimately implement a Ring CX solution? How does it start? Where do we get the lead? Where does the channel play a role? Where does our own demand gen efforts come into play?
Mm.
How does that work? And literally, and this is the CEO. So you think,
Right.
oh, you're a CEO, you're pretty busy. He's like, Amir, I want to see it. Literally, it's like, start flowcharting it for me. So I'm on the whiteboard. Well, the BDR takes this, or the channel team comes in. Here's a lead, and then we try and qualify the lead, and then we hand it over to my team. And literally, we're walking it through. How long does that take? And why does it take that long? And how do you do the discovery? What types of questions do you ask to know that you've done the proper discovery? Like and that's for new acquisition. Well, what about existing customers? We're already there. What about the upsell, cross sell opportunity end to end? And then Amir, how does your team take that design and then hand it off to professional services? How do we make sure that the implementation team has all of the necessary information they need to continue to delight the customer? Because we
Mm.
often hear sometimes, hey, the pre-sales, they wowed us, right? But then when it got to implementation, there's new people there. And it's incumbent upon my organization to kind of have that handoff, so that irrespective of who or a partner, whoever it might be, that ultimately takes the baton and continues the touch and interaction with the customer, that it's a seamless, excellent experience end to end. And this is what the CEO, he's literally doing that. It's like, okay, this is a little, okay, I get it a little bit. That's rough. You know, by the end of next week or the week after, I need an end to end detailed. I want more, like peel the onion. And we actually did that for him. So
Yeah.
it's amazing when you see the CEO is that passionate about how we're addressing customers' needs. It's not very difficult for us to be passionate about it. It really is inspiring.
Yeah, and really getting into the customer journey and understanding the customer journey and the sales cycle as well, because we do know that for unified communications, it's somewhat table stakes. It part and parcel of what you would expect as part of the normal infrastructure in really any business. It's EX because we're trying to operationalize better communications in the organization. But contact center's totally different animal. You really cannot sell it anywhere close to being transactional. You have to build a relationship. You have to ultimately understand the problems. You have to unpack them. You have to map them to your solution and then come up with a great path forward. And as a result, it's not anything that is just kind of off the shelf. It's a somewhat of a nuanced process and a consulting process that has to occur. And I can see, how that can be a little bit of a struggle for an organization making that change, because ultimately it's a longer cycle and it requires a little bit longer legs to get it done. You guys have been in the business for this for a while, but really trying to understand your own product and how that fits, I think at the CEO level is great, because otherwise he is not just sitting there looking at what are we doing from an earnings perspective. A customer focused CEO is going to be the best CEO in our current environment and going forward into the future.
No, absolutely. Like I said, he's passionate about it, and really, he wants to help. Are there any pitfalls? Where can he help? So when
Mm.
he's probing us there, and he sees some sort of resistance or hesitation or delay, or why does this process take so long? Oh, well, because this is how we do it. Well, why do we do it that way?
Mhm.
Why can't we change it? Well, he's the CEO, so he is empowered to make the change. Whereas, it's like, oh, well, we're going to make this more efficient. And what do you need? Oh, well, you've got limited resources. I'm the CEO. I'm going to give you more resources to solve that. And then ultimately, that reflects in the customer journey, because it's much more seamless for them. They're able to get things, much quicker at a
Mhm.
higher level of quality, and really exceed their expectations. So definitely having a CEO like Vlad, it's been refreshing.
It sounds like a sense of urgency as well. I mean, Amir, what does that mean for your organization? You're not just trying to mail things in and just kind of hold a position. Is there a sense of urgency? Is there something that's driving the business? Where do you think that's coming from?
No, no, 100% sense of urgency, because look, you see how the macro environment is going. It's been difficult to grow. So
Mhm.
we've been very fortunate. When we look at our peer competitors, our growth rates have still, exceeded. And so it's a matter of, how do you continue doing that growth, increasing that growth? You're going to do it through innovation. You're
Mhm.
going to do it through process optimization, and you're going to ultimately, all of that, you got to have a product that the customers are going to make a difference for. It starts with the product, but again, every person or every team that touches the customer has to leave a lasting impression, because there are options, as you say, right? On paper, a lot of things sound the same. So the urgency for us is, we've made the claim. Vlad did that at one of the earnings, that we're going to shift from the leader in UCaaS to a true multi-product company. And that's what we're delivering today with the Ring Sense, with the Ring CX, with all of the AI that we've brought forward. And so the urgency is making sure that we get there sooner, and we transform the company along the way.
Mhm. So, in any type of industry, in fact, maybe even in any relationship, people know you by what you do, not necessarily by what you say. And you talk about an aligned partner community. What does collective success look like for you when you're thinking about a partner community?
Yeah, and when there's multiple definitions of partners here, right? We've got the channel partners, the trusted advisors who are key
Right.
because as big as we are globally, we'll never have the scale that our channel partner community can bring to the table. And these folks are trusted advisors. They know the customers, they know the verticals, they've been with them. So it's incumbent upon us to make sure we work very closely with them, make sure that, and that's why I have specialized channel SE teams
Mhm.
that their job is literally to make sure that they're available to the channel partner community, educating them on our latest innovations, and they're doing that all the time. And then so you've got those partners that are absolutely critical because these are opportunities. And then when we get engaged, our sales teams, our SEs, we work hand in hand with them, walking through the sales process. And you rightfully said, a customer experience or a contact center opportunity is a longer sales cycle, and it needs to be
Mhm.
because you're getting in so much deeper into the organization that touches so much more. And so for that, coming back to partners, we have other alliance partners, whether it be like the Baltos of the world,
Mhm.
the Cognigis, the Yellow AIs that further enhance our solution with even more AI. We're doing a lot of AI on our own, but some of these are highly specialized companies that are incredible at what they do. So we make sure with our open platform that we do the testing with them. We've got the integrations. So ultimately, we can bring those partners also to the table for an end-to-end solution that is really sticky, that the customers are truly enjoying. And again, the numbers speak for themselves, like in terms of how well Ring CX has been selling. It's not just Ring Central, it's absolutely kudos go to the channel partner community and a lot of the partners that we bring to the table to put that end-to-end solution out there. And then again, success begets more success. And I'm in sales, so Vlad sees that success, so my targets keep going up and up and up. So yeah, I'm excited about it, but at the same time the urgency is there because we want to make sure that we maximize on that opportunity as Vlad and the company and our shareholders would expect.
I like the fact you talk about discovery. Discovery is a subject that's a core competency of our firm. And fundamentally, the way I look at it is people want to get answers. And if you engage with a prospect, a customer around a particular problem, if you lead with answers, it's essentially a deaf process. You're really not starting from the correct point, which is asking a good question. So I feel that those firms that ask the best questions give their customers the best opportunity for a better outcome. Like, where do you see questions and how do you foster the question asking process with your SEs and across your sales teams to make sure that it's a better conversation?
Absolutely. The discovery is absolutely critical. We've adopted a selling through curiosity type of framework.
Mm,
So it's asking the right questions. It's, open-ended questions and really kind of leading the customer to areas that they don't know. We're talking about, they may think they've got a problem. They do, they realize it. But if you're asking the right questions, you're actually educating the customer about problems they didn't even know they had because you're asking deeper because they maybe, oh well, we just want to solve this problem. Meanwhile, there are other lingering issues within their customer journey that they haven't addressed, and they figure, well, we've kind of got a spreadsheet that's kind of no, let's talk about, let's really open it up right now. Here's what you're doing today, and that discovery with our channel partners like yourselves is so key because we need to talk with, it's not just one meeting. It's talk to the agents themselves, talk to the supervisors. Maybe if you have an opportunity, talk to the customers of that business that you're working with. What do they like? What do they not like? Where are the snags? Right. So, you've got one mouth, two ears. We need to listen. We need to ask the right questions. Do a detailed discovery. And then, as part of the discovery, finally, afterwards, then you start to solution and architect what could be. And then even then you paint a picture. You say, okay, here's where you are today. Here's where we could take you. But given your reality, maybe we're taking it in phases. We're truly appreciating where the customer is. We have to show the ROI. And in fact, within my pre-sales organization, we had ROI specialists as well that will work very closely and help the customer to build the ROI out. So as they transform and migrate to the cloud, it truly delivers on the promise. And I think that's very important. It's almost like a self-funded roadmap, right? Here you are today. Here's where you want to go. We can phase it to you, take it through this phase. Keep us honest. We made that ROI for that. Oh, look at all these savings that you absolutely, we brought this in. This is saving us. Now we can fund the next phase. Then I kind of keep on going. And the important thing there, to your point earlier, is it's not transactional at all.
Mhm.
You're truly a partner to the customer with the channel partner as well, as part of that trusted advisor team, looking out for them, understanding where they're going to go, keeping on top of what's happening in their segment. We've shifted our sales organization to be much more verticalized, and that allows the sales teams to be much more experts, and say even SEs to be much more experts in the industry, whether it's financial services or manufacturing or healthcare is another one that we do very well in. So the more you work those types of customers and accounts, you can become much more familiar with what that industry is doing, whether it's compliance or other. AI. Everybody's talking AI, but what about ethical AI? Where do we need to be careful? Where do we need to kind of watch it so that we're truly being careful? At RingCentral, we've never shared customer information. We haven't had any slaps on the wrist for doing things like that. Even when AI came out, we're very, very careful. I know in the industry, another competitor got in trouble by, using training, again, live customer data. That is paramount. The privacy of the customer information is paramount. That's not something that we're going to do. We lay that out up front and we follow through with that.
Mm. During the pandemic, there were a lot of things that came to the forefront. When you're at low tide, you see what's at the bottom. It can be pretty junky. And one of the things that we saw coming out of it was people really wanting to be on point about how they buy technology better, because it's been historically very tactical and not as strategic as it could be and should be. And one of the things that is a three-letter acronym that I bristle at is RFP. And RFP just seems to me something that is one of those items that we can take and we can drop away, because it tries to boil things down to features and functions. It's somewhat idiotic in terms of how it stack ranks and compares. It's done in such a way that it obfuscates the real challenge. Do you know for your organization what problem you're trying to solve and the customer journey that you do want to create? Understanding how you want to have that experience, and then finding the technologies that fit that. And for us, that's where we come in as an organization to unpack that and to compare it to the right technologies. Do you have a similar mindset when you hear RFP? Do you think to yourself, do we want to do this, or are you trying to shape how clients think about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, in general, I don't like RFPs, right? There, in fairness, some maybe in the public sector or otherwise, it's kind of mandated, so you have to do it, so you're kind of
Mhm.
stuck with it. So
That's
absolutely, we
right.
do RFPs, we do, but to your point, in an ideal case, it's not an RFP. You're having some really meaningful discussions and strong discovery, to the point where, what was the purpose of an RFP in the past? It was like, oh well, we're going to ask all these questions and we'll learn, and then we can decide. But if you're engaged with the customer truly in a collaborative fashion, engaged in discovery with folks like yourselves, then the RFP is not necessary, because you understand, you've listened, you come back. And that's really important. As many discovery meetings as you can with as many different departments, different groups, is super valuable, because you gather all that and then you huddle and then you understand. Then when you actually get to the prescription, where now I'm going to prescribe a solution, and you come back, that's where you wow the customer, because they're looking at it going, wow, you've truly listened to me,
Mhm.
right? And then now you've presented a scenario, you've presented a view of the future that is with which based on ROI. So it's not just pie in the sky stuff. It's like, hey, we are going to save you this much money. We're going to allow you to do this much. You are going to, in turn, not just save, so you got the tangible benefits, but also the intangibles like the customer delight, the stickiness, which is so important right now. So when you're able to do a good discovery and come back with a presentation back to the I love those presentations because you see the customers like, wow, this you've listened to me,
Hmm.
you've truly, and then of course you can do pilots, you can do trials, POCs. Happy to do all of those so they can test it out. So don't just listen to what the PowerPoint is saying. Let's put it in your environment, try it out for a select group of users. Let's go. I mean, that really makes a difference.
Yeah, it's evidence. That's for sure. So, in terms of your team's involvement, what's the lasting impression essentially that you would like them to make in the sales process?
Yeah, ultimately, we come with credibility. So we're,
Mm,
we're, we're there, we listen. We never say we can do something when we can't. I think that's a core tenet within my organization. We absolutely do that. But at the same time, as part of the discovery, if the customer is saying, hey, I'd like to have this, you don't just say, no, we don't do it. It's a matter, okay, so can you explain more? Tell me about the use case of how that would work exactly, because it might be something that we don't have today, but we can take it to the roadmap, right? We can take it back to the product. We can see when it can be added to the roadmap. Because as you said, especially in the customer experience deployment, they're not deploying it overnight. It's not, hey, I've turned it on. So very likely if there is something that the
mhm.
customer would want that we don't have, probe deeper, ask a lot more questions. How would that work? How is that working today? And how would you like it to work in a future environment? And then again, that's the golden nuggets that we take back to the product that I mentioned earlier, why they want to talk to our team. Because we're listening to the customers, and hey, maybe they've brought up something, or maybe collectively with the partner, with the customer, and with us, we come together and say, well, wouldn't it be even better? So that's what you've got today. That's what you have. Imagine you put some AI magic into it and you had a scenario where you could go from here to there. And it's
Mhm.
like, you can do that? I said, well, tell you what, I'm not going to promise it, but I am going to be your champion. I'm going to amplify your voice. I'll go back to our product and let me get back to you. And then most of the time, it's like, yes, we can do that by this date. What are the timelines? It aligns. We've got a happy customer, and it's just so much better than just yes, no. But we will never say yes to something that we can't do. I think that's important. So the number one thing is my team has integrity. We have integrity. We have technical competence because we truly want to earn that, as just like you, that
Mhm.
trusted advisor status. It's not a given.
Gotcha.
Trust is earned, in my opinion. And I've talked to so many CIOs and senior folks, and they tell me, Amir, I see the sales folks and all that, but when the SE comes in the room, that's the one that I pay particular attention to because they understand my environment. They've got the technical background and understanding, and what they say I know I can believe because again they have an appreciation of what it will take to get us to what the charts may be saying.
Yeah, I believe in competency first. That is truly what customers want. They don't want a catchphrase. They want a relationship based on competency and being an advocate as well, like just what you talked about. Amir, thanks for being on the show.
Pleasure. Thank you, Frank. I really enjoyed our discussion.